Okay, let's talk about our feature interview.
This interview this week, as promised, is with Bryan of Thou. We talk a lot about the theories behind Thou, their music, whether they have mosh pits or not, and we even have
Whether they should have mosh pits or not.
also we even discuss a few other bands. So
We do.
let's get right into this interview. We had a great time talking with Bryan.
Has anyone ever referred to you that way and said, "Let's get the funk out with Bryan Funck"?
Oh, I've heard all of those, but
I bet
it's
you
been like
have.
the high school days.
Yeah, yeah. Because that you're probably around our age. It's probably the same thing where that was God, that album, I think it sold like 5 million copies or something. It's like unthinkable now, Now.
Well, I went to an all boys high school, so people are just mean and terrible.
God, my daughter's boyfriend is his name is Fred Durst, right? And he's a real estate agent. So he always, his slogan is, if you're not Durst, you're last, and all this crap. And then we met his dad, and his dad was Fred Durst. And we were like, but not the Fred Durst. So we were like teasing him. We're like, oh, Woodstock 99. And he was like, what? What are you talking
He
about?
doesn't know who Fred Durst.
Yeah,
He had no idea. Because I guess, they're 30 some years old. He was like, what?
It's like your name being George Washington, and you're like,
right.
I'm sorry, who's that?
You
I'm
you
drawing
should
a blank
still
here.
you should still interview him for the channel, but just ask him real estate questions.
God. It was
How do you feel about plywood? Do you? Oh, well, anyway. Well, thank you for doing this. It's great.
Yeah,
We've been huge Dow fans for years. You guys are some of the heaviest. You've put out some of the heaviest stuff I've ever heard. So.
and sent him back when he had the webzine, the only CD he ever got with a ribbon on it.
Yeah, he even had the little ribbon. It was
yeah,
nice.
little belly band.
Yeah, exactly. A little belly band.
He
Yeah.
still has it on.
Of course I do. Yes, of course. Absolutely. So before we forget, you guys must be working on some new music. Do you have something that you're working, like a split or an album that you're working on, or?
Yeah, we have a new record that we started writing it when we got back together like a year into COVID. And then we had to shelve it because we did the collaboration with Mismer and with Liam and then that Norco soundtrack. So we basically got kind of sidetracked, and then we just kind of recently picked it back up, and I think finished it. We're recording next month, so I hope it's finished.
Okay.
I was gonna
So
say,
you're looking like 2024, you think something be out?
Yeah, I think May is what we're looking at.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I figured, judging by your prolific catalog, it was probably coming soon.
Yeah, it's almost like you guys have become like collaboration core. You're like
Yeah, we don't do that
known
much.
for. I don't know a lot of heavy bands that are known for their collaborations, but you guys have kind of found that niche.
I think the body, I think Chip and Lee, whatever they do, they always have great ideas. So we always just steal their ideas. And they're like the kings of the collaboration record.
It's like when they used to put you in groups in school, and you're like, I want to be with that guy because he does all the work. I like
Yeah,
him.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, whose original idea was it when you guys came together? Was it kind of mutual, or did you go to them, they come to you?
Like, how did I join the band, or how did the band start?
When you collaborated with the
Oh,
body, like,
oh, with the body.
Mhm.
I think Lee brought it up. I think I don't know if they had done. I don't know if they had done too many other collaborations. They had done, like, they had always gotten people on their records. Like All the Waters had the Assembly of Light Choir on a lot of the tracks, and I think maybe coming off that record, they really liked doing that. And um, we were gonna. It's at one point we were gonna, right after Summit, we were gonna do a Fiona Apple tribute record, like a LP's worth of Fiona Apple covers, and we were gonna get them to play on a couple of those to make them heavier. But we kind of scrapped that idea, and then at some point Lee brought up us doing writing a record together. So yeah.
yeah, I loved the idea. I love the version of the Nine Inch Nails song, a Terrible Lie on there. I love the way you guys took that song, completely flipped it on its head. That's my definition of a good cover. I hate it when a cover sounds like exactly the same, but you guys really ripped it up on that one. Was it kind of a collective to do that one, or did one or somebody pick it?
I can't remember how Nine Inch Nails came up. I think maybe we were talking about doing the record kind of more in that style. Like I was pushing us to do like kind of a downward spiral type sounding record at the time. And then we got together to write and it just didn't come out like that. So it, it came out the way it was, but somehow that idea of doing that sort of thing, somehow snowballed into the Nine Inch Nails cover. And then at the tour, we did a tour. It wasn't right after that session. It wasn't when we did that session recorded, but it was like a year later. We did another tour at the Body, and I think we did like a Fleetwood Mac cover and a Marilyn Manson cover. So yeah, we're all into all that old '90s stuff. So
who's the big Nirvana fan? Because lots of Nirvana covers. How did that come
Whole
about?
tribute album.
Everybody in that. That's like one of the only bands we can agree on.
Well, that makes sense. Yeah.
What's your Kurt Cobain theories?
Kurt Cobain theory. Elliott Smith's girlfriend did it.
Okay. I made her watch the Mentors documentary so she could get the whole that the guy from the Mentors was hired by Courtney.
Yeah. I've looked at all stuff for. I don't know. I think he just did it.
I'm gonna go with the Mentors just because why not?
Yeah. Those guys were desperate for cash and beer money, right?
Yeah.
So going back to the very beginning, how did you guys come together as Thou, and how did you choose that kind of iconic name?
Well, I joined in 2007 and the band started in like the end of 04. And I think Andy and Matthew were in a band together before Thou. And so they wanted to do something else. And I don't know, somehow they wrangled Terry into it. And Mitch, they knew from some other bands. So it just kind of came together. Thou was like the least offensive band name they picked, I think. Offensive, like aesthetically offensive. I think the other one they were going to go with was Forever Death was the original one they were kind of leaning towards for a while. But yeah, I think it just somebody said it or something. They thought it sounded cool and it was like innocuous enough, I think, where
everybody had like anal cunt type of brand ideas.
Well, it wasn't anything like that. It was just like, terrible band names, just not good.
It's not good, right?
Mitch and Matthew are in a band right now called Big Garden. So, you can see.
Yeah. Okay.
See where they live.
And then I think you do really well with going kind of with that name, which is kind of, Brandigos. And then your covers are all the kind of like medieval looking. Like
yeah. I want to ask you about that. So the covers on the Bandcamp page are different in some cases than the actual.
Talk about the artwork.
Yeah, the artwork. Like how? Like what is that all about?
When I joined the band, like my bands up until Thou were bands that lasted like a year or two at best. So like there wasn't a lot of there wasn't the thought that the thing was going to last this long.
Yeah.
That's point A. So point B is that when we did have releases, it just felt like I had real estate to play with. So I wanted, and also like at the time, like CDs were they were like they're out of style. So it was like it not that they were like throwaway, but I felt like if we were going to do CDs, I wanted to make the CD different in some way or interesting in some way. So we did art for the record, and then I would do different art for the CD, and then at the time too, with the streaming stuff, the digital stuff, that was like totally new. I joined the band in 07, and iTunes and all that stuff was like just kind of starting to like be a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I can't remember if it was Robotic Empire, so whoever asked me for like the digital art, I was like, oh, well, do I just, can I do something different? And they're like, yeah, you can do something different. So I did something different. And then I think I just took, when we eventually did a Bandcamp, I just took the few things that we had sort of done for the digital art, and I just sort of crafted like a uniform look for
Yeah,
the
looks
band.
great.
I wanted the band camp to just have a, I didn't want it to look like a mishmash. If you put all our records, people say it has a look, and maybe, I don't know, but like, like I didn't want it to look like a pile of stuff. I wanted to just like have a look, and
No,
so it's
great.
easy to just take those like Doré woodcuts and give it a certain like flourish and just keep it consistent with all of them. So,
Yeah, not everybody's like Voivod and Mastodon, where they were like, all right, we have the next 23 album covers already worked out ahead of time. I mean, not everybody has that,
No, I wish. I mean, that's like one of my big regrets with the band is if I thought that I was going to be this much of a long term thing, I would have put a little bit more effort into like having like a very focused aesthetic because I like when you can like look at a record and tell what it is without having to look at the text and stuff. I mean,
I agree with you. Yeah.
That's part of why we gravitated towards Cigarette Bones. Like we liked their aesthetic. I thought it was like a cool look. You could just look at a record and tell it was a Cigarette Bones record. I thought that was sick.
Right. The opposite of that would be like the early Pantera records, where you're like, what were you guys thinking? I mean, it looks like a box of cereal. What are you doing?
Any of that 90s stuff, all that stuff looks even like the old Metallica records. They like look cool. If I look at them now, they almost look like half of them look like a magic card or something, and not in a good way.
I know. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely.
So if you look, you guys, just up on Metal Archives or Viewer, I've seen everything from you're called sludge metal, stoner rock, drone metal. I don't think it's necessarily any one of those things. If you could make yourself a label, whether it be real or not, where would you put
I read an interview where he said hipster metal, and I thought that was perfect because that's the right thing to say to piss off the
hipster
the
hardcore. Well, we're post hipster doom now.
Post hipster.
We
that's
past
awesome.
the hipster doom. Yeah, we're post hipster.
Excellent.
Punk.
This week we're featuring a post hipster metal band. Now.
Yeah, put that in you. Yeah, I mean, I just call us a punk band. I mean, we all come from like the DIY scene. I'm like a hardcore kid. I don't even like metal that much. There's like this much metal I listen to. It's mostly our friends' bands. So like I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really it's always been interesting seeing like the arc of things with us with like who's coming out to our shows and what kind of bands we were playing with. Because like when we were first booking the tours and stuff, I was booking us through all the like punk and hardcore dudes I knew that were booking shows, and we play with punk and hardcore bands. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We were playing with like crust bands more than standard metal bands.
Right.
And then when we started playing with metal bands, it was like just like us. It was metal bands that came from the punk scene. It was it was Leech or Fell Voices or Ashbore or whoever. So it was it was great.
Right.
Yeah, you definitely have that punk rock do-it-yourself thing going on. Is there anything that you farm out, or is everything done in-house?
Like what? Just
like
just the writing. Just the writing. We get Lee and Chip to do all our writing for us.
And writing.
Yeah.
And
no, art. Like you mean like the artwork and
yeah, the artwork, the merch.
I mean, it depends on what you mean by that. Like, we're not screening our own shirts. Like somebody's screening the shirts. Although, like most of the stuff we do for tour, it's like a friend of mine doing it. I mean, the artwork. It's not like I drew any of that stuff. I just stole it from different places. But we've in recent years we've started working with people that artists that we like or that we like a lot of that we know. Like for Magus, we got to use some stuff. We licensed some stuff from Ellen Jane Rogers, who's a photographer from the UK, and for the Emma thing, we got our friend Craig Mulcahy to do some photography. Our friend Teddy Taylor, we've used some of her stuff on some of the records. The Nirvana covers collection thing that's about to come out has art from our friend Trash Boy. It's got Jake from here. It does some like crazy like Xeroxed bondage BDSM stuff. So we've started using other people in terms of like that. But that stuff for us is like, it's like we're either going to use somebody that we like that we could just reach out to and talk to, or like, because Ellen Rogers is like she's an old punk. She's like an anarchist person. You know, we're going to use a friend of ours that we like their stuff, and for us, like, part of it is like getting images that fit with whatever the record is or whatever we're trying to do, but also like getting our friends' work, using us as a way to like get our friends' work out there whenever we can.
Yeah.
I mean, what I mean, we don't record the record. Like, we're not recording the records, but the guy that records the records, like my friend from high school, that's recorded 90% of our stuff. I mean, we're on a record label, so it's not like I mean, we still self-release some stuff, but we're on a record label, so they have people, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't
we
know.
tried.
It depends on what you mean by DIY. I mean, I don't know. We go on tour. I still drive the van. We're in a van, so
get in the van. Yeah.
I mean, we are. It's funny because like the record that we're working on, the finishing umbilical is like, it's sort of like the taking, at least how I wrote it was a sort of like taking a survey of how the way we present ourselves and the decisions we make now and the compromises we make now, how that lines up with like my more youthful punk ideology. So it kind of goes to that question, but I mean, like my thought, my at least on the record, my thought is that we don't do a good job. We do a bad job. we haven't committed ourselves well enough to those things. I mean, not that I'm hating the decisions we've made, but you know, I wish things could be a little different sometimes.
Is it, when you guys record, is it always like everybody in the same room, everybody has to rehearse, or are you trading files, or like how much like trading of files will you tolerate?
Do you still have 2 members in California?
No, pretty much everybody lives in New Orleans except our drummer. He's from Tyler's from Nashville, but he just moved up to Chicago, so he's a little further away now. We don't really do too much. I mean, Andy's the only one that will kind of send like a demo type thing. Yeah, we don't really. We tried going back and forth trading stuff, and when the other guys did live in California, when Mitch and Andy lived in California, there was a bit of like the rest of us were rehearsing. We sometimes record, but like do the actual recording minus their stuff, and then they would come in, basically have to learn it and sit in there and overdub it. Rhea Silvia was basically like Andy and Mitch had to sit there and play everything. Probably a couple other little things. I think like most of the Nirvana, like a chunk of the Nirvana covers, because we did a chunk of those at once. But yeah, we're not good at the trading files. We can't. Yeah. We're not it's real funny because people think we're like because we put out seemingly a lot of records or like a wealth of material, but we're not a very disciplined band. We're a very poorly disciplined band, and we like even the stuff we've done in the last few years, it was like pulling teeth because we'd only get little snippets when we get together. We'd have to sort of like marathon things, and these days everybody's like old and tired and like sick of like the marathon, so like it's a little harder to like get stuff going. But I don't know, every now and then it's something like there's a spark and something happens and we can get a little bit done. But yeah, so trading files, no. Recording, generally, like, yeah, we all get together in the same room. We'll live track everything except the vocals, basically, and then I'll come in, overdub the vocals, and we'll spend a couple days overdubbing guitars, maybe punching in little parts if somebody messed up a part. As long as we get the drum track right, we're good.
Yeah.
The record we're getting ready to do, I think we're gonna try to live, depending on where we record it, I think we're going to try to live track it in the room uh, without like ISO booths. So it's going to be like, it's going to have to be like a perfect take every time. I mean, we'll probably do a little bit of, James will probably do a little bit of like adjusting, but I don't think, I think it's going to be like pretty live and raw sounding.
You know, we really like the collaboration you did with Emma Ruth Rumble. I think it's a really good idea, and I don't know, probably you didn't do it for this, but like for that tour, you're gonna, you know, she's gonna get exposure to some of Val fans, you're gonna get exposure to some of theirs because the genres are kind of different. But I think it's a really good idea to kind of get crossover fans, you know, to listen to your stuff too. I mean, but it's
I mean, yeah, we've tried that over the years in a number of different ways. It doesn't always work great. Yeah, I don't know how many of her fans appreciate us or me at least.
Your vocals back and forth with her are so great on that record. I love it. I think it's great.
Yeah, I mean, but for like a person who's like steeped in that sort of thing, vocals like that are like, yeah, it's no big deal. It's like whatever. But like for people, there's, you know, I forget, you know, because I said, I come from like hardcore, so like I'm used to like, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
right. So like, but for like civilians who aren't
right,
you know, like
95% of the people that can't take death metal vocals or hardcore vocals,
right. I mean, yeah. So like, I don't know.
We don't
so
hear
like,
it anymore, but they do.
You're right. But yeah, I mean, that was it wasn't really like, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say it wasn't like, yeah, we've always tried to like branch out. Like we took MJ Guider on tour. That's like a dream pop band, like an electronic, basically an electronic band. You know, being on Sacred Bones. I mean, the idea of us going to Sacred, like that was to like, you know, doing the Norco soundtrack for our friend's video game. Like, you know, that was us trying to like, you know, like push it a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's sort of like punk, like doing a punk show or something. Like you're looking for like a 10% return or 1% return. You hand out 1 million flyers and you're trying to get like 100 people to show up, you know, and that's a success.
We
like,
totally get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like in the early 90s on the radio, I always think that the mainstream people are lying. Like I always believe our ilk. But I remember this interview with Janie Lane from Warrant where he was like, the guy asked him, like, who are you listening to? And he's like, I like this band called I Hate God. I'm like, no, you don't. No, you don't. Fuck off. You're lying. They're our band. Fuck you. You know, don't even say it. I always think that the Taylor Swifts are lying. You know, they don't belong in our realm.
No, it's fine. I mean, I don't know. I'm less concerned with that these days than I am just like being around people I can get along with and that you know, aren't turds. You know, it's like I've been at punk in hardcore and like metal, I guess, long enough to like, you know, people who like share my tastes, like that 9 out of 10 times it doesn't mean shit. Like doesn't mean
because we'll argue about the 1% that we don't agree on. That's what it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we like, if we compared our record collections, we would agree on like almost all of them. But it only takes one to argue all night. Like, I don't know. That's how I am anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. He argues on Metal Forum, like the whole instigate on Metal Forum.
Yeah, well, kind of. Yeah. So, but whatever. So, but like, I don't care if Fenriz doesn't like this Dark Throne album. It's still good. I don't care what he says. I don't care if he made it. I don't care. It's still good.
It's too once you put it out in the world, it's too late. Like now it's everybody's.
It belongs to the world. Exactly.
Right.
Yep.
So I had kind of a specific question for you, and I will preface this by saying I work for an eye doctor.
Oh yeah, this is a good one. Yeah.
So, I was reading. I love the Ms. Moore collaboration, and
can you give me contact lenses? I'm having so much trouble getting my contacts.
Yes, I
get
can.
your guy to write me a prescription.
Yeah.
Uh,
I had to cancel my eye doctor appointment on Monday, and it's like a month out till the next one.
You just tell me your power later. Email him. I'll send you also.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. What's the question?
We like to exploit our employers by stealing stuff from work like anyone else.
Right.
Yes, of course.
They're all free. They give us cases of them, but
Yeah.
But I was curious. Like, I loved the lyric about the perspective and narrowing sense, and I'm like, I don't know why they picked myopia though. I think I would have picked keratoconus or maybe astigmatism or presbyopia. I don't know.
Ophthalmology humor.
Yeah. I mean, Liam came up with the title. I just thought it sounded cool, and like the idea of like just having a narrow point of view. Where I thought that was like interesting. So what if myopia doesn't mean what we think it means?
Yeah, no, it does. I was just teasing when I was like thinking about it. I'm like, keratoconus is probably a better one because that's when your eyeball is actually kind of football shaped and it gets worse over time. And eventually a lot of people need to get a corneal transplant. It gets so bad. So that's kind of like,
but if you write any more songs about eye deficiencies, you have an expert.
I'll for sure.
But myopia fits much better lyrically than keratoconus,
You're gonna have to send your complaints to Liam. I was just a yes man on that record, so I was trying to step out of my box a little bit.
Yeah, that was a great collaboration too.
Oh, thank you.
Well, we play a game on the show.
Speaking of bad band names.
Yeah, so let's get into the game. Hopefully you're up for it. Okay. The game is called Blaspheming Monikers. Okay. And the way it works is I have 5 band names. Okay. And I'm going to read them off for you. One of them is made up by me. You have to guess which one is fake.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So here we go. It's this week. It's a bloody mess. So the first band is Inquiring Blood. The second is Chambers of Blood. The third is Knights of Blood. The fourth is Bloodbath and Beyond. And the fifth is Mental Hippie Blood. So take a guess. We'll just keep going until either you get it right or I run out of band names.
I think it's going to have to be one of the last two. Mental Hippie Blood.
I love that band. They're real.
They're good. They're real.
They're Swedish. They're real. Yeah, they've got 2 full lengths. They're split up. God damn it. I love them. They sound kind of like the band Grand Magus. I don't know if you ever heard them. They're like Swedish stoner rock. But anyway, so they're real. So that leaves Inquiring Blood, Chambers of Blood, Knights of Blood, Bloodbath and Beyond.
I mean, Chambers of Blood and Knights of Blood are so generic, I have to assume that those are band names. Bloodbath and Beyond sounds made up, but it could also just be a screamo band from the early 2000s. Let's go with Bloodbath and Beyond.
No, they're a thrash band from Florida.
Oh my god!
They have 1 EP and 2 fulls.
It's a party thrash band. They're playing with Wastoid and freaking what's that other?
They're playing with they're down there with Inhuman Condition and whoever else. Yeah,
Municipal Waste. They're playing with Municipal Waste this weekend.
So that leaves Inquiring Blood, Chambers of Blood, and Knights of Blood.
Inquiring Blood? That sounds like it could be real, but are they real?
Yeah, they're real. They're German death metal. They have 1 EP and 2 fulls. Chambers of Blood is the answer. I made that one up.
You made that.
Knights of Blood is a Spanish heavy metal band. So
are y'all regretting that you got one of the least metal members of the Howl on the channel, or
no, it's I never know how it's gonna go. Usually Americans get it right away. But like the Norwegians are like,
sure,
that must be incorrect, And you're like, no, that's.
I'm a bad American, I guess.
No, you did great. You did great. It's a fun game. So, I mean, you ever just go on random band generator on Metal Archives and just marvel at who thought of this name? Like, did it take you a full 5 minutes to come up with this for your band? I mean, or how about the ones that have 7? There's 7 bands listed with the same name. Yeah. How easy is it to verify that now? You know what I mean? Like, hello.
Yeah.
I mean, this isn't 1972 anymore. Anyway,
Google it. Search on Bandcamp. See if anybody's got that Bandcamp already.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. I want Bloodbath and Beyond. I know there's huge merch opportunities.
Does anybody have Stonerhenge yet? Because that was me and Mitch. We're gonna.
I like that one. That's good. Yeah. The one that I always wanted, if I ever actually get back into having a band, it's gonna be called the Illuminatis.
Oh, yeah, like that name.
Yeah.
I think that's a garage rock band right there already. I think you might.
Yeah,
Have,
I'll be Johnny Dropout. Yeah, it'll be one of those kind of bands.
One
yeah.
of my favorites was always Skank Fragment.
I like that too. Yeah.
Good big all girl punk rock band.
Yeah. Really good. Yeah.
So a lot of your lyrics kind of go in the punk range, and are a little political, a little nihilist. Does the band kind of have the same political ideas, or do you guys ever kind of argue
You
about
getting like political arguments,
No, I mean we're not. I wouldn't say we're. I mean we're not like 1,000% aligned, but I think where it matters in terms of being like anti-authoritarian and everything that entails, like I think we're all on the same page with that. I don't know. I don't think of us as like a political band. I mean, that political. I mean, we just have personal politics. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like, especially now, it's like everything is political, I guess. So like, it's sort of a quagmire, but yeah, I don't know. It's like this hating cops like
front.
that. No, I don't know.
The general state of the world is right now. It's like I had to kind of stop watching the news. I just couldn't, deal with it.
Sure.
And then I missed the fact that our local grocery stores are no longer, we can't have plastic bags anymore.
The plastic bags have gone the way of like.
Oh, where are y'all at? No plastic bags?
Baltimore, Maryland. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like it's like lead paint, asbestos, plastic bags. That's pretty much where they're at. Yeah.
I'm the idiot in the grocery store going, can I have some bags? And they were like, no. I'm like, okay, I'll just kick my bread to the car,
bags.
But they had one you could buy. I was like, fine, I'll buy a bag.
Well, it's funny. I lived in California like 15 years ago, right after Hurricane Katrina, and I used to go to this grocery store, like a cheapo spot by my house called You Bag It, and I didn't even realize with the name You Bag It bring a bag, or you paying for a bag. So it was pretty funny. I got there first time I went there. I just had like a tiny little school bag and I'm stuffing it full of stuff.
So, like, who's the most political punk band? You think it was Agnostic Front? Like, who was the most in your face with their politics?
I don't Born Against for me, but I mean, that's a good one. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, I feel like bands like Minor Threat are like political. They're just they weren't talking about Ronald Reagan or whatever at the time, but they still are like a political band in my mind. And like all the stuff I came up on, like all the like 90s hardcore, like that stuff's political, Earth Crisis is political. So like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just political to me just seems so like, it's like such a broad, I don't know. You could paint any band with that, I think.
I loved Minor Threat so much, except for the not drinking and not drugging part. Just take that
favorite part. Come on.
Right? Exactly. I like everything except that. Yeah.
You have to kind of compare.
I mean, who's a not political band? Like Blind Guardian or something that's singing about like D&D shit?
You're singing about like we're going to go to Valhalla and raise our tankards and stuff.
Right.
Hey, that's so great.
I don't know. I could see that as a metaphor for something and read something into it. I mean, that's the thing. Like
you can always read something into it.
Yeah. People told me all kinds of crazy stuff about what they think our songs are about. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
I love that you picked Blind Guardian because it ties back into the unified album covers. I mean, there were another one. Every album cover, our next 13, they're all set, Who does that? Who has that kind of forethought,
Oh my God. So I have never seen you guys live. I think the last tour you smartly skipped Baltimore. A lot of people do like Philadelphia, DC, and Baltimore.
It's on a Tuesday night. It'll be like 20 people there. Yeah.
I think the last time we were up there, we didn't. We played Autobar. That's in Baltimore.
Oh
right?
Yeah, Autobar. Yeah.
Yeah, we played.
It's still in business.
On that Converge tour, we played Autobar.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Rats the size of cats. Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, I had been to Autobar in like 98 or 99 for a random show, and it was in a different spot. It was like super small.
Yeah, that used to be the place for like heavy music, but I don't know, it changed. Like now it's I don't know who's playing at the Autobar anymore. Now everything heavy has gone to Baltimore Soundstage and the Metro. So
Yeah.
maybe Autobar's all like
A
Juice Newton
little
cover
bit
bands or
Raven's
something now.
Head, but mostly.
Yeah, it used to be the place. Like I saw the Melvins at the Autobar. I saw Mastodon at the Autobar. Yeah. I think early 2000s was really their era for like having all the heavy bands. Yeah.
I was up there for this band As Friends Rust that was like a kind of post-ish, hardcore-ish something. It was like the singer from this vegan straight edge band Culture was in that band.
Okay.
So I went to go see him. And this other band, Strike Anywhere from Richmond, Virginia, played. It's probably I think the first time I saw Strike Anywhere.
I saw From
They're like
Ashes. I saw
like
From Ashes Rise at the Autobar,
yeah, yeah.
and I had to write a concert review the next day. And there's some other band that opened for them. I forget what they were called, but I said From Ashes Rise was so heavy that they sucked all the oxygen out of the room, but the opening band just did the sucking part.
There
I
you
was
go.
really proud of that
Yeah,
review.
that's good. Good turn of phrase.
Oh God.
Anyway,
Yeah, so the only thing I could find like on like YouTube was, live recently was the Hellfest in 2022.
oh, but that was awesome.
6 people on stage, but you guys made it look effortless. That's a lot.
Hellfest. How was that? My
Yeah.
God.
It's fine. I don't know. That stuff to me isn't that stuff's not that fun. Like, especially like that kind of thing. I mean, I don't want to talk shit about Hellfest, but like any kind of situation like that where it's like you're on like a giant stage where I gotta look with my binoculars over here to see one of the other people, like that's like not that fun.
Yeah,
In like
that's not punk rock.
the
Yeah.
crowd, it's just well, I mean, whatever. It's just like the thing about shows for me is and the thing I hate about thou shows currently that I've hated for like the last few years is that like for whatever reason people don't understand that like in order for me to like have fun and get into it and be energized, I need to like feed off of like some energy. There needs to be some reciprocal thing going on. This isn't like a transaction. You paid your $5 or whatever, and now I gotta get up here and do a little dance for you. Like, I'm not interested in that. It's not fun. I don't like performing. I don't like, playing shows is fun when I can get out of my head and like there's like an energy and excitement. And like that's not just gonna come out of my butt. Like, I gotta feel it from people putting it out there. If they're not, it's like
You mean like the reaction of the crowd, or
the reaction of the crowd, sure. And like a situation like Hellfest, it's like even more difficult to get that reaction because the people are so far away from you. Even if people were kind of like going wild or whatever, like the audience is so like 1,000 feet
right,
away from you. Like
right?
they could do
Nobody's jumping
anything.
up on
I don't know,
stage.
it's
Yeah.
like watching TV for me from up there. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. I gotta not even be thinking about that. I gotta
Like,
go
what's your? I'm sure you have
somewhere
stories
else.
about like what's some of your crazier like punk rock house shows. I'm sure you've played some of those. I've been to some punk rock house shows that I can't believe I woke up the next day from.
Yeah, I mean
You
we
played
played
basement
tons of them. We
shows where you've
still play.
been like, wow.
I mean, we've played so many house shows. I don't know if I could like distill it down to like there's no like you know but I mean there's definitely shows we played. I mean we just played Houston recently, kind
Uh-huh.
of a few months back, and we probably hadn't played Houston in like 10 years or something. And the time before we played Houston was awesome. One of my favorite dive shows ever, where we went up early for there's like an anarchist book fair, and we went and tabled the book fair, and then we were playing like the after party show that was at like a speakeasy, sort of a punk house, was sort of like
Sort
an
of a
underground
bar.
bar kind of thing. It was
Yeah, yeah.
crazy. And it was just wild. People going nuts, but having going nuts and having fun without being goofballs. I don't know. That's the other thing too about like what I like my expectation, what I want the audience to do and be is like unrealistic. But
Like,
when
how is it unrealistic? How what do you expect them to do?
because you want for me, I want people to like move around and go wild, but I don't want it to be so violent where people are getting hurt. But I don't want
Wait a minute, hold on. If you guys are changing chords every 2.5 minutes, How do you expect people to be moving around? I mean, if you're going,
I mean, look, if I'm up there moving around, then
yeah.
the people
Yeah.
out there could be moving around. There's like there's no excuse. So
Okay,
whatever.
I'm just putting it out there. I just, I mean, I didn't expect to see a mosh pit at St. Vitus. I didn't, so
The New York shows are great. I mean, when we play New York, like it's generally great.
that's see, that's so cool. I'm just when it's a like a doomier band with a slower tempo, I never expect to see anybody going up, and then when they do, I'm like, okay, wow,
I think
so
it's good crowd surfing music, actually.
well, I mean, but a lot of places it's not like that. I mean, so
Yeah, I don't know. Current metal people to me just seem very uptight, and like the ones, it's like there's an uptightness and there's like maybe it's because of the age thing now. Like the people have sort of aged with us, but there's like a I don't know hoity-toity, like a nerd quality to it. There's like a I'm
well,
not
there's no
like
safety concern of going up anymore. Like when I was going to shows, I would come home with huge bruises on my ass from being dropped. Now you have people that are going up and they're taking selfies while they're up. I mean that there's
wow.
no there's no safety concerns anymore. I
We
mean,
need to get the bag for all the phones at the shows. We need to get rid of all the
you do
phones.
the Glenn Danzig. Look, I know you've heard this Misfit song 6,000 times, but I want your phones because I'm going to play it now, and
Now
I can't have it on the internet.
what's that bomb they set off where all electronics go out for like 10 miles?
On Ocean's 11, what's it?
We need to
I
we
know what
need
you're
to
talking about.
set
Yeah,
we need to set one of those off and then
yeah,
bring the gear in afterwards and
right. Where he's like, it's like a nuclear bomb except without atomic destruction.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. That's what we need. Yeah.
Well, even so, that footage, you are so serious, which I guess it's serious. I mean, oh my God, you almost look mad, and it was just. But I thought the performance was great.
I am mad that no one's
You
moving
are me.
around. The show's painful for me. Yeah, I'm mad. Got a lot to be mad about. I don't have health insurance. You're gonna have to steal contact lenses for me.
There we go. See, so we're making connections here.
We'll
Yeah.
move you to Finland. We've heard they have great health care.
Yeah, we did. We interviewed a band not that long ago that said that they moved from Canada
Canada.
to Finland because of healthcare.
Really, I would think Canada would have pretty good health care.
I think by our standards they do, but I think by this particular band's standards they did not. So yeah,
I mean, I'm
No,
on Medicaid, so it's like I'm just happy to have anything.
exactly right.
of course, then you got the 6 months of darkness you get to deal with,
Yeah,
Right.
that's true.
and
In Scandinavia,
you need more drugs. It's a vicious cycle.
Hmm.
I guess that's when you go on tour.
Oh, really?
Sure.
Um, so in your opinion, what has changed most in the music industry in the last like 10 years or so?
Uh, it's hard for me to say because I never really paid that much attention to like that music industry stuff. We just sort of like write songs and put them out, and then write more songs and put those out, and then write more songs and put those out. And that's it. So I don't really pay too much attention to like the record stuff. I will say that it seems like people are like obsessed with maybe this is just like part of like social media or whatever, but like announcing things and like making these like sort of like grandiose pronouncements about when something's going to happen or dropping this single or that thing or what it like
Yeah, yeah.
preview of this or teaser of that. And I don't care. Like I just want people to put out records that are
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
How about with like shows? Are you seeing more of like the venues wanting a percentage of the merch and stuff like that? Like I've heard a lot about that.
We've rarely come across this people that do the merch cut shit, and
Yeah,
you just tell them no.
yeah.
Tell them
It's
no.
the fucking
It came
worst.
it
It's
came up a
terrible.
couple times on, or maybe once on that Converge tour. One of us at the space in not Grand Rap, Detroit, I think, maybe a place in Detroit, and we were just like, No, it's not. It's not an our thing. Our guy didn't sign off on that, so
Right.
we're not doing that.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
I saw Converge a couple times, and the second time I saw him, they cut the show short. Jake Bannon goes, I just got kicked in the head, and I'm seeing 3 of everything. So this is going to be our last song. And I was like, fuck you. I want 20 more minutes. This is a Wednesday night.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I
Because
thought they used to be hard asses. Converge was
exactly.
like,
I was like,
you go to a Converge show, you're gonna get something broken or cut off you, you get stabbed or something.
I was like, you all right, okay. So we're softening it up apparently. Great.
Old fogies.
Great. I don't get my full 40 minutes of Converge. Thanks.
Yeah, people love Converge, but Nate that plays bass was in a band called Jesuit that I think is like
I know them. Yeah, I like them. Yeah.
Incredible band.
Yeah, really good.
Love that band. He laughed at me when I told him how much I love Jesuit. It's great.
There's Cave In. I'm sorry, there's Converge, and then there's Botch, and then there's Cave In, and then there's like everybody else. That's always the way I felt about it. Like Gellinger is in there too,
I liked Botch. I saw him play here and they're insane. Dillinger, I like those first 2 records.
Yeah,
I saw them when they did those first 2 records. They were great. Coalesce of that kind of stuff. Coalesce is the band for me. That split with Death.
Who was the one that had the album called Samsara? Was that Coalesce? Or was
that's Catharsis?
Catharsis, yeah.
I mean, that's like that record's like probably my top 5 hardcore records of all time. But like
they were there. We're there. I knew we would be there.
I don't think Catharsis in the like was the because that's like the chaotic whatever like spastic whatever. But
if it sounds good, it is good.
Love Catharsis. Love it.
Well, this was great. Thank you for discussing obscure metalcore bands with me. I appreciate this.
Oh, that's not even that obscure. Come on.
I know. It's not if you know. Yeah.
And we look forward to new stuff coming as well as the current stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get to see you one day in Baltimore.
That'd be great.
We'll be there. Yeah, we'll play somewhere.
We'll suddenly be standing at the bar with you. That's usually how it goes. We're like, remember us? The happy couple.
That's usually how it happens.
I'll remember. Where'd that dog go? Who's it? You didn't introduce the dog.
Oh, Jax. He's always our third.
He's a Yorkie. Yeah,
he's asleep now. He's usually during the podcast, like he'll jump up and down like 3 times. I'm like,
yeah.
We thought we were gonna have a problem because the cat came down here and they do not get along.
It's weird. He gets along with the girl cats, but not the boy cats. So
who knows? We've got 2 pit bulls at home, and my girlfriend teaches piano at the house, and some of her lessons are remote lessons, so it's on like Zoom or whatever, and she can't. The dogs they just go nuts when she starts playing piano. So
wow,
they gotta go.
The pit bulls to me, they always look like they've been working out all day.
Yeah, not ours. Not ours.
Oh, not yours. Okay. You have the non-working out pit bulls. Okay.
They're spoiled. Two spoiled dogs.
Thank you for doing this and for being so responsive and so timely and punctual.
Let me know what contact lens prescription you need.
Yeah. Send us an email. Come at us in the DM.
-7.
Easy. You want dailies or monthlies?
I do monthlies.
Okay.
I
Easy.
am gonna email you. Don't be joking around. I'm gonna email you my stuff.
I won't.
I'll send you the box.
This is the Snaggletooth Extreme Metal Podcast.